I wrote down all of the questions that all of you were asking. Do you remember when you looked at the form that I put for all of our seeds? I said, if you have any questions, you can write them here. I saw those. Those were some really, really very good questions. So I wanted to answer some of them now. The first question was, maybe it will grow 4 inches tall. Do you remember we looked at how tall the wheat was, and it was already 1 inch, right? So I'm wondering, maybe it'll even get taller than 1 inch. Maybe it'll get more than that. We'll have to give it some more time and see how tall it gets. Maybe it will be 4 inches. Next question is, will there be any purple flowers on any of the plants? What do you think about that? That's a good question. I'm remembering now that for the cone flowers, I remember the name of them are purple cone flowers. I think that they're going to be purple, but I'm not positive yet. We'll have to give that time too. So I'm not sure, but I think that they will be purple because that's the name of them, right? But we'll see. Next question is, how will you store all of the flowers when they grow? That's a really nice thought. Well, for right now, you notice that I had all of them on the windowsill over here so they can get enough light. I think that for this time, it's a really good spot to store them. So when they keep growing, if they are liking how much sun they get here, I'm going to keep them there, right? I'm not going to ruin that. I'll keep them in that home. So next question is, can you eat the seeds? That's a really nice thing to think about. A lot of seeds you can eat. Most seeds are all the way fine to eat. I know that there's some seeds that aren't so good to eat, but you should definitely ask your family just to be sure to see if you're not sure. Most of them, yes, some of them, no. And next question is, are they all going to grow at the same time? I wonder if you can answer that question right now. Are all of these growing at the same time? No, they all are different because they need different things. And just because one of them is fast, does that make it better? If one is slow, does that make it not as good? No, I just think that different plants, just like people, need different things. What I need might be different from what somebody else needs. So we're going to see how long these will take and what they might need while they're doing that. Let's see, we said, are they all growing at the same time? We figured that out. How do we know what's going to sprout first? That's a good question. Well, we learned that the alfalfa grew first, right? So sometimes in science, you don't know what's going to happen. That's why we make those hypotheses, right? Because you take that careful guess to learn what might happen after you see it happen. Next question is, I think the seeds will grow to be as tall as my clipboard. That's an interesting thought. I actually looked up how tall clipboards are, and clipboards are usually about 12 inches tall, and that's as tall as this ruler. Do you think one of these things is going to get to be 12 inches tall? We can keep track. I'm going to keep them right here, so maybe we'll get that tall. We'll have to see. And another person asked, which seed which seed sprouts the prettiest flowers? That's a good question. Because for me, my favorite color is green. That's for me. But other people, do you think they have to have the same favorite color as me? Of course not. So that's called an opinion. What I think is pretty might not be what somebody else thinks is pretty. So maybe it's going to be different. You don't always know. Someone else asked, which plant has the best flowers? That's another example of an opinion. Because what somebody might think one flower, I think someone might think the corn has the prettiest flowers, or some people might think the clover has the prettiest, or maybe someone will think the bush bean or the black-eyed pea is beautiful or the best. It's all up to you. Everyone has their own opinion. All right, we have our last couple of questions over here. Which one has green leaves? So far, I noticed that the wheat was green, the alfalfa was green, and the radish was green. So I know those ones so far, and we'll have to see which ones also do, because I don't know. I'm not positive. I think the daisies will grow first because they were planted first. That was an interesting question too for me, because if you remember, I did plant the daisies first, but did they turn out to be the first to grow? Not this time. The alfalfa did. So I guess some seeds, even if they are first, they might not be the fastest because maybe they need more time. And how long will you keep them in your house? Somebody is wondering. That's a really good question. I think I'm going to keep these in my house as long as they feel happy and as long as I can take care of them. So hopefully that'll be a very long time. And someone else asks, what is a black-eyed pea? And that's a good question too. They are another kind of pea. A pea is a vegetable, so they're a different kind because there's more than one sometimes of something. And our last question, we went through a lot. Why are you growing the plants, Mr. Rubenstein? I decided to grow these plants because since we're at home for school right now, I was thinking maybe the kindergartners are going to be wanting to do something that's pretty interesting from their house. So this is something that takes many days and maybe many weeks. So I thought this would be a really, really nice project to do together so we could feel together doing something new. Thank you for all those questions. Before we finish up together, I wanted to let you know that there were a few questions that I did not answer today. And that's because I needed some help, because I didn't know the answers to them. And just because you're an adult like me does not mean you know all of the answers because you're older. That's not how it works. People are always learning. And I have a friend of mine who's a scientist. That's her real job. She's a teacher and she teaches science. And she's a scientist. And I have to ask her some of these questions because I needed her help to answer some of these questions. So next time we see each other, we're going to be meeting my friend. Her name is Miss Quino, and she is a really great scientist, and she's going to help us get to the bottom of these plants. All right? See you soon. Hi everybody! Today is the end of the 6th day, and I just wanted to give you a quick update with where the plants are. As you can see, Mamma Mia, look at this wheat. That's really growing. So this one got already just past 4 inches tall on the 6th day of growing. I wonder if it's going to keep getting taller. It looks like the alfalfa is really reaching for the sun. And then over here, our clover finally sprouted. The clover sprouted on the 4th day, number 4. And over here, the radish. Remember, that was the 3rd one to sprout. And it's really taken its own new shape now. It's pretty beautiful. And then next we have the bush bean. If you look really closely, you can see that it's starting to come through. I'm not sure what shapes it's going to emerge as right now, but they're very interesting as it's happening. And so the bush bean and the black-eyed peas, those sprouted yesterday on the 5th day, number 5, about the same time. We're still waiting for the corn though. But that's the black-eyed pea that you're looking at right now. And they're really emerging also. And so the corn over here is still not sprouting. I guess it needs a lot more time, which is okay. And then the peas over here, those sprouted yesterday also on the 5th day. That was a big day for a lot of these seeds that are now plants. And over here, the daisies and purple coneflowers are starting to come through. They also started yesterday on the 5th day, but they're sprouting a little bit more slowly, it looks like. Some of the other ones came out starting to get tall, and there were many, but these are pretty few, and they're kind of gentle. So I'm excited to see what they all look like.